Good evening, traders, and welcome to our show After Hours with Berries. Let us see what market has done today. And not unexpectedly, we have seen a really strong up move in both the indices. Though such moves on a Friday are a little unconvincing because it can very well be a short covering move. But we will look into that a little more. And as you can see here, for Bank Nifty, we are still in the range of the candle that had formed on the day of budget, high being 42,000 and low being about 39,500, and we are still rotating in that. This is the previous all-time high, as you can see, of the Bank Nifty, and that might act as a resistance once again over here. And if I show you the charts on a smaller time frame, it has taken a resistance once and then again it tried to move up, but then I think the basically long unwinding came towards the end of the day, as people might not want to carry the long positions over the weekend, since the markets are very uncertain, even the global markets. So this is the situation in Bank Nifty. Moving on to Nifty, well, Nifty has moved a little less than Bank Nifty has, so 1.57 against 2.13 percentage points. But I think it does not really make much of a difference. The basic premise of the up move remains the same. One interesting observation I saw when I switched my charts to line charts were that this 17,600 sort of level uh, has acted as a support on a line chart. So on a closing basis, it has acted as a support, and again in a on closing basis, it might act as a resistance. We will only come to know on Monday how this level reacts, but for today at least it looks like Nifty did take a bit of a resistance at this level. Before we move on to stocks, let me just walk you through our option chain. And a few days ago, let me tell you precisely when this candle had formed, rather in these 2 days, Kshitij had mentioned that he is going long in Bank Nifty, and his thesis has worked out. And even I had said, looking at the option chain, that we might see short covering because on the option chain the PCR was very heavily favored towards call writing. What that means is there were a lot more calls written than puts, and as the when the market moved up, the calls started unwinding, so the resistances started going away, at least in the option chain, and the market moved further. If you want to know more how to read option chain and how to analyze it properly, do let us know in the comment section. We will try to make a dedicated video on it. But as you can see on all these columns, a lot of unwinding, a lot of short calls were closed. On the other side, a lot of puts were added, and as you can see, PCR is now comfortably above 1, which gives us an indicator that now it's anyone's game. Whichever direction the writing increases, we will move in the opposite direction. But as of now, option writers are favoring the put writing, sort of indicating that there is still more scope for market to move up. That's the analysis of option chain. If I go back to our charts here, similar story in Nifty Finance also. Nifty Finance also has not broken its I mean, this is it has, but on a closing basis we are still in the range of this budget day candle, so I think this is still fine. Now the unexpected part, and I will accept my misread here, that from when VIX was roughly on this day, on 21st Feb, I had drawn this arrow and sort of I would call it predicted, because that is what it was. It was a prediction that we might see a VIX increasing all the way to 17, 18, 19. Well, it did go up to 16, but from there we have seen a continuous compression in VIX. Now I agree that my read of VIX and my read of option chain was not consistent, but hey, that is how market is. Sometimes the VIX wins, sometimes the option chain wins. You have to structure your trades like that, and always it's like in the life, you prepare, like you hope for the best but you prepare for the worst, and it's something similar to that. And because of this reading, I was just in cash. I was not in options or derivatives in the indices at any level. And now that this trend line is broken, I think we might see a still further compression in VIX, at least for 2-3 days. In next week, I think until half of the week gets over, we will see some compression in VIX, and then probably this arrow will work out. So just between you and me, I'm going to move this arrow here and hope this prediction works out. But jokes apart, yeah, this is how my VIX read stands as of now. Now, I don't remember whether I had mentioned it or not, but there was a decent enough trade in USD INR here when we were touching this 83 level. Have I? No, I have logged out of my Kite account, so it's okay. But we had shared this trade. If we did not share it with YouTube, we had shared it with a few of our friends, and they are in this trade. Simple logic. Generally, when such sort of resistances happen, especially in currency charts, if they hold, they hold this exact level. If they break very decisively. So what I mean by that is, here is one example. So resistance, decisive break. If you go further back, here also this is an ATH, no testing once, decisive break. So it's very easy to place your stop losses in such setups, and it's all about making sure you get a decent risk to reward. So what my setup was, now this is not in the hindsight. I will probably share my trade sometime later, as I don't remember, probably I was entering here. What my trade plan was, I will take a half a rupee stop loss, because if this stop is it, there is no way USD INR is reversing from there. I was pretty sure it would easily go to 84.5, maybe 85 also. But at the same time, because there was this trend line, this resistance, the previous proper support was here. If not this, then at least 80. So I could easily see a possibility of capturing over to 1.5 if the momentum continued, even 2 rupees. The USD INR future I entered into was a March expiry. I had entered at around 83. If I'm not wrong, it has closed at 82 today. I mean, technically it hasn't closed yet, but in 10-15 minutes it will. So I'm already sitting on about 1 rupee profit. If you remember, each lot of USD INR takes about 2000 rupees of margin. If you capture 1 rupee, you make 1000 bucks. So it's already 50% ROI. But again, looking at the risk, and because this market trades overnight, I have to make sure that I prepare for, as I said, for the worst. So I made sure that my risk was such that even if rupee gapped up overnight by 1.5 rupee, I still won't lose my shirt. So I only entered with 3 lots instead of 10 or 15 that my capital would usually allow, and I'm happy with that. I mean, it's ultimately the game of return on investment. So that's USD INR. Let us go over a couple of stocks while we are at it. All the financials moved well today. ICICI Pru, well, this is I took an entry in this today because let me just zoom out and show you why this level is important. This is the pre-pandemic high, this is the pandemic low, and this is the level from which it reversed. So basically, if ICICI Pru goes down further from here, my stop loss is not very deep, it's about 26 points. But the upside still remains quite large. Even if it is in the range, I can easily see it re-attaining 480 sort of levels, which is why I entered, because the risk reward is really favorable. And this is if you consider this as a COVID range, we are re-entering into the COVID range, so of course RR is favorable. Another stock we had discussed yesterday, Muthoot Finance. I took an entry in cash. Well, it did not move as planned. In fact, you can see the joke on the right side. I mean, everything else is green. Muthoot Finance is the one in red, which there is a setup. But I think that is how the market is. And again, this setup convincing, because pre-pandemic high, tested once, tested twice. So if it breaks from here, it's a very easy to place stop loss. Again, similar 25 rupees stop loss, and that is how I'm structuring my trade. So I prefer to use simple setups like this instead of putting an RSI indicator and a moving average on this. Probably, I don't know, 80x. I don't even know all the indicators there are, but I prefer setups like this where I clearly know, okay, this is where the stop loss is. If it hits, it hits. Otherwise, I have a target of about 1000. If it works out, just as well. Once again, PSU banks did well. So the weakness, again, I'll point out another one of my mistakes, and that is metal indice. I was expecting this to be a clear breakdown. It wasn't. In fact, in the chart of Vedanta, it looks like there is a reversal here on the cards. And when it was about 10:30 in the morning, if I'm not wrong, what time was this? Yeah, 10:30 ish. I made a bear spread with calls, so bear call spread with on Vedanta expecting that 280 will not be taken out, and about 1 hour later it was taken out quite convincingly. But again, these are metal stocks, so a short covering in metal stocks is also quite drastic. So I'm expecting this to be a short covering. I could be wrong, but because it's an option spread, my max loss is limited to I think 2,400, 2,500 bucks. So the liquidity of the options permitting, my max loss is also reasonably well defined, which is why I'm not too worried about this. I can let it run for maybe a few more days, and once I see the liquidity in the options drying up, I will exit the trade. Otherwise I will hold it as far as possible. It's not taking much of the margin as well. I think I should stop this show today, since it's a weekend also, so I guess you guys will also have some plans. We will meet again on the Monday with Bank Nifty setup in the morning, and after our show in the afternoon, so after us. Mind you, Tuesday is market holiday, I think because of Holi. So the Fin Nifty expiry will happen on Monday. So plan your trades according to that if you are taking any. I definitely have some decent enough expectations of Fin Nifty looking at the volatility setup and everything. So we will talk about that on the Monday. So guys, thanks for tuning into After Hours with Berries. Make sure you like this video, share it with your friends and family, subscribe to our YouTube channel, press the bell icon next to it so that you are notified every time we upload a new video. Links to all our socials are in the video's description, our Instagram page, our Telegram group, our blog. So make sure you follow us there as well. Thanks for watching.